The wind tore across the jagged cliffs of Giron 7, a planet so harsh that only the strongest could survive. Lightning flashed across black clouds, illuminating the twisted rock formations below. This was a death world unforgiving, deadly, and feared even in the distant corners of human space. Yet, humans had made a home here. They thrived where others perished. Among the cliffs, the settlement of Corin stood stubbornly against nature's wrath. Domed habitats and metal towers dotted the uneven terrain, and the humans moved like shadows between them, wrapped in heavy protective suits. They were hunters, builders, engineers, and survivors all in one. Every day, they fought the storms, the predators, and the planet itself. But today, something far stranger than any storm was coming their way. The signal arrived quietly, almost unnoticeable, in the deep space communications array. Taylor, the lead communications officer, froze as she examined the incoming message. "This doesn't make sense," she murmured. The signal was alien, unlike anything she had seen before. Its structure was intricate, precise, and urgent. It was an SOS. "Where's it coming from?" asked Jarek, the settlement's chief strategist, stepping closer. His eyes, hardened by years on this planet, scanned the data. "Coordinates point to the Epsilon Theta sector," Taylor replied. "But that sector is empty, or at least, we thought it was. Whoever sent this, it wasn't meant for us." Jarek frowned. "A mistake?" Taylor nodded. "I think so. But it's not a normal SOS. It comes from a ship, a massive one. The readings suggest it's armed. Very armed." The room went silent. Corin's residents were no strangers to danger, but a massive alien warship entering their space was something entirely different. "Prepare the scouts," Jarek ordered. "We need eyes in the sector. And Taylor, keep trying to decode that message. We need to know if they are hostile or lost." By the time the scouts launched in small, reinforced ships, the storm above the planet had grown fiercer. Lightning cracked like whips, but the humans were undeterred. They had faced worse. The Deathworlders knew that survival depended on courage, cunning, and speed. Far away, the massive Zorath ship moved through hyperspace. Its surface gleamed like black metal under distant stars. To its crew, they were responding to a distress call from a neighboring species, a call they believed required immediate assistance. The SOS had been misdirected, an error in the galaxy's complex mapping system. Soon, the humans would realize the consequences of this mistake. The scouts returned with first images. The warship was immense, easily 10 times the size of any human vessel. Its hull bristled with weapons that could level a city in minutes. The humans studied the images in awe, but not in fear. Fear was a luxury Deathworlders rarely had. Taylor worked quickly to decode the SOS. Patterns emerged: energy readings, emergency protocols, and distress markers. But no words. The Zorath communicated through frequency shifts, pulses, and sequences of light invisible to normal human sensors. Using their scavenged technology and ingenious algorithms, Taylor and her team translated it into basic messages. "It's a plea for help," she said finally, her voice tight with concentration. "They are in danger, not attacking us. They're asking for assistance." Jarek exhaled, tension easing slightly. "So, it's a mistake. But why would such a powerful ship be in trouble?" "Unknown," Taylor admitted. "Could be a system failure. Could be a virus in their AI. Could be an accident during hyperspace travel." The room's atmosphere was a mix of relief and rising tension. While the humans were safer, knowing the ship wasn't hostile by choice, its arrival still posed a danger. One misstep, and the Deathworlders could be crushed under its immense power. Jarek stood and looked out at the storm-lashed cliffs. "We can't just wait," he said. "We survive by taking action. If this ship lands near us, or worse, crashes, we need a plan. Prepare defenses, but prepare for contact. We must be ready for anything." By nightfall, the storm had grown into a fury, battering the settlement relentlessly. Yet the humans moved calmly, efficiently. Automated turrets were positioned along cliff edges, trenches were dug, and sensor arrays calibrated. Even in the chaos of nature's violence, human ingenuity shone brightly. Taylor continued her work, discovering strange patterns in the SOS. She realized that the Zorath had sophisticated systems to stabilize their ship, but they were failing. The humans could intervene, but how could they communicate with beings whose language was sequences of energy pulses? Jarek approached. Taylor, we need a way to reach them. If they think we're a threat, they could fire first. And we're outmatched. She nodded. I'm creating a translation interface. It won't be perfect, but we can send basic signals. Maybe indicate we're friendly. Meanwhile, in orbit, the Zorath warship began to emerge from hyperspace. Its massive engines lit the darkness, casting eerie shadows across the planet. From their perspective, they were approaching a primitive world, unaware that their distress signal had reached beings unlike any they had met. The first human signals reached the ship, blinking patterns, energy pulses, and light sequences. Inside the control room, the Zorath officers paused, puzzled. Their sensors detected the signals but could not interpret them fully. Were these creatures intelligent, hostile, or capable of help? Back on the planet, the humans prepared for any eventuality. Jarek led patrols across the cliffs, testing terrain traps and checking automated defenses. Scouts reported unusual readings from the warship, confirming it was indeed in distress. As the night stretched on, a massive flash of lightning illuminated the sky. For a moment, the humans could see the enormity of the approaching ship. It was unlike anything their planet had ever seen, an alien leviathan, dark and beautiful, bristling with unknown technology. Taylor's interface finally worked well enough to send a simple message. We are not your enemy. We may help you. Minutes later, faint pulses returned from the warship. The Zorath did not understand fully, but there was recognition, a cautious acknowledgement. Jarek allowed himself a brief smile. They are listening, he said. We may be able to save them, and ourselves. But the storm was far from over. The Zorath ship moved closer, and with every second, the danger increased. One miscalculation could destroy the settlement. Yet humans thrived under pressure. They were masters of survival, and no alien mistake, no matter how large, would find them unprepared. Across the settlement, humans worked together like a single organism. Engineers reinforced the hulls of domes. Scouts mapped the cliffs for safe approaches and escape routes. Scientists calculated energy patterns to anticipate the alien ship's needs. Every human skill mattered. Every decision could save lives. High above the cliffs, lightning crackled across the sky, as if warning of the trials to come. The Deathworlders did not flinch. Their planet had taught them courage, ingenuity, and resilience. And as the distant pulses of the SOS continued to blink across space, one truth became clear. Humans, no matter the odds, never surrendered. By the first light of dawn, the ship's outline loomed against the horizon. Massive, dangerous, misunderstood. But the humans were ready. The first contact was not yet violent, but it was inevitable. The Deathworlders had prepared, and they would face the coming challenges with everything that made them human. Courage, wit, and unyielding strength. And in that moment, as the storm continued to rage and the alien Leviathan approached, one thing was certain. The universe had underestimated the Deathworlders, and they were about to learn that humans survived, thrived, and conquered, even where no one else could. The Zorath warship loomed larger in the skies above Giron 7. Its hull gleamed like black steel, bristling with strange weapons. And it moved with a grace that made it seem almost alive. From the cliffs, the humans could see its immense size, 10 times larger than anything they had built, 10 times more dangerous. Yet, despite the obvious threat, fear did not dominate the settlement. They had survived storms that could shatter mountains and predators that could swallow a human whole. A ship, even a massive one, was just another challenge. Jarek and Taylor stood at the edge of the cliff, scanning the ship's movements. Their eyes were sharp, trained to notice details that could save lives. "It's slowing down," Taylor said, pointing to the readings on her portable interface. "They are trying to stabilize their orbit. But something is wrong. Their engines are fluctuating." Jarek nodded. "Then we have a window. We need to make sure they don't land on top of us, or worse. Fire first. We show them we're not a threat, but that we're ready." Scouts moved silently across the rocky terrain, marking positions where humans could appear visible without risking their safety. They left signs, patterns in the rocks, and lights from signal beacons to show that they were intelligent but not aggressive. Inside the Zoreth ship, confusion reigned. Their sensors detected the small human signals, but the creature's technology was primitive compared to the Zoreth's. Yet the energy patterns they emitted were unlike anything they had seen. "Commander," said one officer, "the species on the planet. They are responding to our SOS. But their technology is crude. How can they even communicate with us?" The commander frowned, his multiple limbs moving in precise motions across a control panel. "It doesn't matter. They are intelligent. We can sense it. But proceed with caution. They may be dangerous. Thanks for watching. They may be dangerous." Back on Zoran 7, the first real attempt at communication began. Taylor and her team had developed a simple interface that translated the humans' basic thoughts into energy pulses. They broadcast, "We are not your enemy. We can help." For hours, the signals pulsed back and forth, strange patterns flashing in the night sky. It was a careful dance of words and light, a primitive but effective conversation. Slowly, the humans began to understand that the Zoreth were not hostile. They were simply trapped, lost, struggling with a massive ship that had suffered a systems failure. Jarek made a decision. "We can help them," he said to his team, "but we need a plan. Their ship is too big for us to approach directly. We will use the terrain, our tools, and our minds. That is how we survive." The humans began preparations. They rigged the cliffs with energy conduits, reflecting mirrors, and sensors that could interface with the Zoreth ship's signals. Using scavenged alien technology mixed with their own Deathworlder ingenuity, they created a method to remotely stabilize the ship's failing systems. Meanwhile, the Zoreth ship struggled to hold its orbit. Energy flickered across its hull, and minor explosions echoed inside. Crew members rushed to repair engines, but every attempt failed. They were strong and technologically advanced, but even they could not anticipate the challenges posed by the unstable energy flows around the Deathworld. On the planet, the humans observed. Using sensors and careful calculations, they created a plan to manipulate the local electromagnetic storms. By redirecting the planet's natural energy, they could dampen the ship's unstable power fields long enough for the Zoreth to regain control. It was dangerous. A single miscalculation could fry the human equipment or even attract the ship's weapons. But the Deathworlders were used to danger. Jarek turned to Taylor. "We need precision. Every signal, every calculation matters. If we succeed, we help them. If we fail, we survive anyway. That is what it means to be human." As night fell, the first test began. Humans fired controlled energy pulses into the atmosphere. Lightning danced along precise paths, striking mirrors and conduits they had installed on cliff edges. Sensors measured energy flow, feeding data back into Taylor's interface. Inside the Zoreth ship, readings changed. Power fluctuations stabilized slightly. The crew stared in astonishment. "Their signals. They are helping us," the commander whispered. Jarek monitored the results from the cliff. "Keep it steady. Don't overcorrect. The moment we panic, we fail." Hours passed, and slowly, the humans managed to synchronize with the Zoreth ship's failing systems. Small bursts of energy spread across the hull, stabilizing engines and control circuits. The warship's movements became less erratic, but the Zoreth still did not fully trust the humans. From their perspective, the creatures below were strange, primitive, yet somehow capable of manipulating forces far beyond their size. Taylor sent another message: "We can keep helping, trust us." For the first time, the Zorath attempted a coordinated response. The ship's systems began responding to the human interface. The stabilizing pulses worked, and the massive ship floated safely in orbit, without any violent thrashing. The humans allowed themselves a moment of pride, but the work was far from over. A new problem arose. The ship's internal damage threatened to release hazardous energy into space. If it exploded, it could devastate the planet below. Jarek quickly organized teams. Engineers, scientists, and even hunters skilled in delicate maneuvers were sent to install remote stabilizers. Using long-range drones, they carefully entered sections of the ship's outer hull, applying energy dampeners, shields, and reinforcement measures. The operation was tense. Lightning struck dangerously close, rocks shifted under heavy winds, and sensors frequently glitched. Yet humans adapted, adjusting calculations on the fly. Their survival instincts, honed over generations on death worlds, allowed them to act where precision, bravery, and cleverness were all required. Inside the Zorath ship, astonishment grew. The crew could not comprehend how a primitive species could manipulate technology at a level they themselves struggled with. The humans were clever, intuitive, and fearless, qualities the Zorath valued but rarely encountered outside their own kind. Hours later, a breakthrough came. The warship's systems stabilized, power fluctuations stopped, engines returned to normal, and the threat of an orbital disaster vanished. The Zorath commander hesitated, then activated communication. For the first time, they attempted direct contact using a visual interface. Taylor's translation interface converted it into understandable language. The message was simple: "You have saved us." "Why?" Jarek stepped forward. "Because it is what humans do," he said. "We survive. We help. We do not wait for fate to destroy us. And we do not turn away from a being in need." The Zorath were silent, astonished. In all their history, they had encountered powerful species, weak species, and aggressive species, but none like humans. These creatures were small, resourceful, and undaunted by forces far greater than themselves. A dialogue began. Slowly, humans and Zorath exchanged information, learning from each other. The humans discovered the Zorath were explorers and peacekeepers, not warriors seeking conquest. The Zorath learned that humans were survivors, engineers, and thinkers, thriving in conditions no one else could endure. But the story was not over. The planet remained dangerous, the ship remained immense, and misunderstandings could still arise. Humans had shown courage, skill, and cleverness, but they would have to maintain vigilance. The universe was vast, unpredictable, and full of surprises. Jarek addressed his team as they watched the ship float safely above the cliffs. "We have done what no one expected. But remember this: survival is more than bravery. It is intelligence, adaptability, and working together. We have proven that humans are not just strong. We are clever, resourceful, and capable of facing anything, even a massive alien warship." Celebration was quiet but meaningful. People hugged, smiled, and shared a rare moment of relief. In the harsh world of Giron 7, every victory was earned, every success hard-won, and today, humans had done the impossible. The Zorath commander finally spoke, his voice a mixture of respect and curiosity. "Your species is remarkable. We misjudged you. We thought you were small, weak, primitive, yet you have stabilized a ship that even we struggled with. You are worthy of our attention." Jarek nodded, accepting the praise without arrogance. "We do what is needed to survive. And sometimes, survival means helping others even if they are larger, stronger, and far more advanced than we are." Night passed slowly, but the humans did not sleep in shifts. Scouts continued to monitor the ship. Engineers ensured the stabilizers held. Taylor maintained communications, slowly translating more complex Zorath language and culture. Every human knew that while one challenge had been overcome, the universe had many more waiting. By morning, the Zorath ship had fully stabilized. It floated silently, no longer thrashing or dangerous. Communication channels were open. Humans and Zorath began to exchange data, learning from one another. Humans shared knowledge of survival, tactics, and engineering ingenuity. Zorath shared advanced technology, star charts, and insights into galactic civilizations. The first true bond between species was forming not through conquest, not through fear, but through respect. The humans of Jaron 7 had faced the impossible, survived, and demonstrated their unique strength, courage, intelligence, and unyielding determination. Jarek looked at the cliffs, watching his people move with purpose. He thought of the storms, the predators, the harsh terrain they had endured, and now, the massive alien warship. Through it all, humans had proven that survival was more than physical strength. It was creativity, courage, and the will to act when others might falter. Above, the warship hovered, no longer a threat, but a symbol. A symbol that humans small, adaptable, and determined were forces to be respected, even in the vast reaches of space. And so, on Zaron 7, life continued. Humans thrived where few could. They had faced the impossible, saved a massive alien ship, and earned the respect of a powerful species. But the universe had only begun to notice them. The true journey, the story of humans in a galaxy full of wonders, dangers, and opportunities was just beginning. The dawn light of Jaron 7 cut through the storm clouds, casting pale gold across the jagged cliffs. The planet's fierce winds had softened, leaving only a low hum in the air. The humans of Korin moved quickly, but with calm precision, preparing for the final stages of their unprecedented operation. The massive Zorath warship floated silently above, its systems now stable, yet its presence was still intimidating. The Deathworlders knew their work was far from over. Jarek stood at the cliff's edge, surveying both the ship and his people. He had watched his team navigate impossible odds, storms, predators, unstable terrain, and a technological marvel far beyond their understanding. Yet they had succeeded, and now, a new challenge awaited, turning an accidental encounter into a lasting alliance. "Taylor," he said, approaching the communications officer. "What are they saying now?" Taylor's interface flickered with energy pulses. She read aloud, translating the alien signals into simple language. They want to know how we did it. They are impressed by our solutions. They want to cooperate. But they are cautious. They still do not fully trust us." Jarek nodded. "Good. Trust is earned, not demanded. Let's show them humans can be allies, not just survivors." The plan was clear. Humans would help the Zorath crew fully repair their ship, ensure safe operation in the Deathworld's harsh orbit, and prove that their ingenuity and courage could be counted on even in the most extreme circumstances. Using a combination of drones, energy conduits, and clever terrain manipulation, humans began the delicate process of assisting the Zorath. Taylor coordinated signals that allowed the alien ship to interface with human stabilizers on the planet. Engineers climbed cliff faces, adjusting mirrors and relays that redirected energy precisely into the ship's systems. Hunters familiar with the planet's dangers guided teams past unstable rock formations and aggressive wildlife. Inside the Zorath warship, astonishment continued. Their crew had never encountered a species so small and physically weak, yet so quick-thinking, fearless, and clever. Every adjustment the humans suggested improved the ship's stability. Every calculation, every improvised tool, worked exactly as needed. "Commander," said one Zorath officer, "how is it possible? These creatures are primitive, yet they operate our systems better than some of our own crew." The commander's multiple eyes narrowed thoughtfully. "It is not just intellect," he said slowly. "It is courage, adaptability, and instinct. They survive where we would fail. This is why they endure. This is why they are extraordinary." Meanwhile, on the planet, the humans faced challenges they had not anticipated. A sudden electromagnetic surge from the warship threatened to disrupt their stabilizers. Jarek barked instructions, and teams adjusted mirrors, realigned energy conduits, and redirected power with split-second timing. Taylor's interface shimmered, translating alien energy patterns into signals humans could work with. "Steady, steady. Now redirect," Jarek shouted. The pulse of energy surged through the devices, perfectly synchronizing with the ship's failing systems. Sparks flew, and a deafening roar of energy echoed across the cliffs, but the stabilizers held. The warship's systems now hummed with smooth efficiency. It was a victory, but humans did not celebrate yet. Survival on Geron 7 had taught them humility and patience. The next stage would prove whether they could establish trust and respect. Taylor sent a final set of signals to the Zorath. "We have helped. The ship is stable. Will you allow us aboard?" Minutes passed, seeming like hours. Then, the alien response arrived. "We accept your assistance. We wish to learn from you, and you from us." A hush fell over the human team. For the first time, they would enter the hull of a massive alien warship. A ship designed for exploration and defense across star systems. Controlled by beings far older and more advanced than themselves. Carefully, humans boarded using reinforced docking pods. The ship's corridors were vast, filled with panels that glowed with energy, and data flowing like streams of light. The humans moved cautiously but with confidence. They were survivors, explorers of a harsh world. A massive alien ship, while foreign, was another environment to adapt to and master. The Zorath welcomed them with curiosity. Their forms were imposing, tall, multi-limbed, and covered in sleek metallic armor. But their gestures were gentle, signaling no aggression. Humans studied the alien technology, asked questions, and offered practical insights drawn from decades of surviving a death world. Jarek approached the commander. "Your systems are stable now," he said. "But you can benefit from strategies we use on Geron 7. Risk assessment, resource improvisation, environmental adaptation. These are lessons survival has taught us." The commander's eyes glimmered. "You are remarkable. Few species adapt so quickly to unfamiliar environments. And yet, you not only adapt, you teach. You improve. You endure. This is why we misjudged you. Humans, you are extraordinary." Inside the ship, the humans and Zorath began an exchange of knowledge. Humans taught resourceful engineering how to repair critical systems with minimal tools, how to use environmental factors to stabilize energy flows, and how to improvise under pressure. The Zorath shared advanced technology, navigation methods, and interstellar communication protocols. As the day wore on, a mutual respect blossomed. Humans saw that advanced technology, while impressive, was not invincible. Zorath realized that strength was not only in firepower or technology, it could be intelligence, courage, and adaptability. Back on the cliffs, scouts observed the planet's skies. Reports of the alien ship's full repair and stabilization reached Jarek. He smiled. "We have done what few could. But remember, this is only the beginning. Now, we show them humans are not just survivors, we are allies, partners, and forces to be reckoned with." Night fell, and the first joint human-Zorath operation was planned. The warship needed to leave orbit safely, avoiding Geron 7's storms and unstable magnetic fields. Humans guided the ship, using terrain and energy conduits to stabilize its engines. Lightning flashed across the cliffs, but the combined teams worked without hesitation. At the critical moment, a massive surge threatened to destabilize the engines. The humans acted immediately, rerouting energy with improvisation only possible through experience and instinct. Sparks flew, consoles flashed, and the warship's engines roared, but stability returned. The alien crew stared in awe. "Your species," the commander said to Jarek, "is unlike anything we have seen. You risked life. You acted with speed and intelligence. And you preserved us when our own systems failed. Humans, you are worthy of galactic respect. Jarek nodded, keeping pride quiet but strong. We do what is necessary. Courage, intelligence, and unity, these are what humans rely on. Today, they saved a ship. Tomorrow, who knows what challenges we will face. But we will meet them as we always have. Together. With the engines stabilized, the Zoreth ship lifted from orbit. It floated above the cliffs, its massive shadow stretching across the jagged terrain. Humans watched silently, feeling both awe and satisfaction. A single misunderstanding, a misdirected SOS, had become a moment of connection, respect, and discovery. Before departing, the Zorath commander spoke again. You have proven a truth we often forget. The strongest species are not always the largest or most advanced. Sometimes, strength lies in resilience, intelligence, and courage. Humans, we are honored to meet you. We hope this is only the beginning of a lasting alliance. Jarek smiled at his people. Let them remember this, he said softly. Humans are clever, brave, and unstoppable when they act together. We survived storms, predators, and the impossible, and today, we earned the respect of a galactic species. This is what being human means. As the warship moved away into the stars, humans returned to their cliffs. Life on Geron 7 was harsh, but the planet had prepared them for anything. They had faced the impossible and prevailed. Their courage, intelligence, and adaptability had turned a potential disaster into triumph. Across the galaxy, the story of Geron 7 began to spread. Humans had proven that size, firepower, or technology were not the only measures of strength. Ingenuity, bravery, and unity could achieve what others deemed impossible. And as humans gazed at the stars, they understood one thing clearly. The universe was vast, full of mysteries, challenges, and dangers, but they were ready. They would survive, they would thrive, and they would leave their mark, proving once again that humans were a species to be respected, admired, and feared not for cruelty, but for their unmatched spirit. On Geron 7, life continued. The storms raged, the cliffs challenged, and the predators prowled, but humans moved among them with confidence. They had faced an alien Leviathan, stabilized a massive ship, and forged an interstellar connection that would last for generations. They were survivors, thinkers, and warriors of a unique kind, and somewhere, far above the cliffs, the massive Zorath ship floated among the stars, a reminder that even in the vast universe, humans had proven themselves extraordinary.